He went on stream one day and he showed people that he got a Master Disguise plus Mal'Ganis, and then his opponent just couldn't kill him, and that's game over. But Amaz is gonna
Oh
pick his
my
priest.
goodness. Yep. Looks
Basically,
like
the
it.
priest. It can put a little bit of pressure early if he draws the Dark Cultist, if he draws the Blade Masters, and then he can basically just try to out heal the mage somehow.
So, but it's a bit problematic when Alex Straza is a guaranteed, it's almost 15 damage right away, and you have to heal beyond at least 20-ish, because establishing a board that's going to kill your opponent as priest is maybe a little difficult. So it's going to get cleared consistently, and if he has Alex Straza and his 20 damage array of spells, then that becomes a bit more problematic.
I think the other issue for the priest is that you basically have very few ways to clear out a Doomsayer. You either have to run Shadow Word Pain, or a freeze combo plus Doomsayer will just automatically clear your board.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do run silences, which I do appreciate. But it's kind of been phased out after GVG. I haven't seen much of it since. It's pretty much gone.
Yeah, unfortunately for Amaz, he has the Wild Pyromancer go into the...
oh wow, he found a Thought Steal.
Good top deck. The Thought Steal allows him to basically clear the Loot Hoarder without sacrificing the Wild Pyromancer. Unfortunately, now it's a ping range. Oh wow, Alex Straza is huge.
Yeah, she's an 8/8.
Ice Barrier, maybe not exactly what you wanted. You definitely would have preferred Ice Block.
Well, if you play Ice Barrier, you can at least let your opponent attack once. The thing is, by playing Ice Barrier, his opponent will be afraid that it is Ice Block, because Kaldi just drew his second one, which means it could be Ice Block that he got from Thought Steal. And the only way for Kaldi to know is to play a minion that will not get killed to trigger the secret, because you can't go all in on a massive spell binge if you're not sure what's going to come out.
Yeah, kind of an unfortunate hand for Amaz, to be honest. He draws basically all of his big creatures. But oh my god, Ragnaros, I think that is the key card in this matchup, and probably one of the reasons why Amaz picked this priest deck. Ragnaros basically, most freeze mages basically, they don't run BGH and they don't run Polymorph. So there's no way for the freeze mage to kill off the Ragnaros. And if the Ragnaros is allowed to go off for just a few turns, 1 or 2 turns, freeze mage will just be dead.
But the BGH is in Kaldi's hand, which means he has decided to tech it, and so the Ragnaros will unfortunately not be nearly as useful as you might have hoped it would.
Wow, that's an interesting tech.
Yeah.
I think it's possibly because Kaldi knows Amaz a bit, and Amaz tends to like these Ragnaroses in random decks. Like we saw it in Handlock last game.
Yeah. It wasn't Handlock. Sneed's Old Shredder is also in the Priest right now. So there's Rag and Sneed's Old in both the Warlock and the Priest build.
I mean, who knows? Maybe Sneeds will pop out another Ragnaros.
Well, I find it interesting that Kaldi decided to attack the minion without checking for the Ice Barrier. That could make a huge difference in his game plan for the later game.
I think as the mage player, you can kind of either ignore it or, I don't know.
I mean, if you don't know what it is, it was a 50-50 that it was Ice Barrier or Ice Block based on...
Oh yeah, it was... or did the Thought Steal come before he drew the second Ice Block?
Yes, right before it did.
Okay, so yeah, a 50-50.
As far as I know. Or did it come afterwards? Now that you mention it, I'm getting lost. So, Amaz played it. Kaldi had the Ice Block in his hand on the following turn. Yeah, it came off just before the second Ice Block was drawn. It made me doubt myself there, Monk.
It's alright.
That's fine. So there's nothing to put in the museum in that deck. That's unfortunate.
Interesting choice to choose to play the Blood Mage Thanos instead of the Acolyte. I guess one reason might be that he has to be looking for... he has to think Amaz might have Cabal Shadow Priest, and generally the Blood Mage Thanos, you'd rather have your opponent steal a Blood Mage Thanos than an Acolyte of Pain, basically, because the Acolyte can potentially draw more than one card.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that you want to make sure that you are going to draw more than one card off of the Acolyte of Pain, assuming you do put it down. Yeah, because he had expended most of his mana at that point.
Lotheb, another key card in this matchup, it basically blocks out what the mage can do for a turn. And that's pretty much guaranteed 10 damage next turn for Amaz.
It's going to play a big role, since it's already popped the ice barrier, so all that's left are ice blocks.
Yeah, unfortunately, this mad scientist, it won't get much because basically all the secrets have been used already in Kaldi's deck. It's
Yeah.
right now it's just a vanilla 2/2.
Yep. Amaz going to check for it nonetheless, which is at least it'll tank 5 damage at this point if Amaz decides to attack it.
Okay, circle of healing, and now Ragnaros comes on the board.
That is a
Amaz-
lot of damage.
Yeah, definitely. Amaz has to be thinking, "Wow, I've got Ragnaros on the board. I'd win." But unbeknownst to him, Kaldi has that BGH.
Big Game Hunter is just all over the place nowadays. It's not even just for Dr. Boom anymore. It's just for everything. It's such a strong card. And I feel like as time passes and decks become more control heavy, the card just increases in power. It's
Yeah,
just
definitely.
insane.
But at the same time, we've been seeing players trying to cut BGH targets from their deck.
Yeah.
So it works both ways, I feel.
Yeah, it can get metagamed against. It's just that when it does get value, it's always a very strong swing.
Oh man, it's one of the worst feelings in the world, getting both mad scientists out after you've drawn all your secrets.
Yeah, that's the worst. But at least it's going to do something for him. What I find interesting right now is a position where, I mean, he has a recombobulator in his hand. It's really useful with very late game minions, like, 9 drops, for instance, that he might be running. In this case, he's got Alexstrasza, which sadly won't serve much of a purpose unless he uses it on himself. But I mean, do you recombobulate one of your minions and hope that you score, I don't know, what could you score at 5 mana? A Leroy Jenkins?
Oh, well, like Sludge Belcher, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like the problem is that both your minions are pretty strong for the 5 mana cost, so it might not be the best to recombulate your own minions, but I guess it's...
But what else?
that's
I mean,
what
they're gonna
Amaz
die
can do.
otherwise, right? You might get Leroy, which would help.
Old Jin.
This is not useful at all.
Yeah, it probably makes his board a bit weaker.
Yeah.
But I guess Maz's logic was that I kind of just want to get this 3/2 out, I think.
Yeah. When else am I going to use it, right? Just want the body to be put out. And Kaldi now able to freeze and kill the board multiple times in a row with Blizzard and Flame Strike. With the added card draw from Arcane Intellect and Acolyte of Pain, he can stall pretty effectively. And he's nearing the turns where he's going to be able to get his Archmage and a 3-drop out.
Okay, so Kaldi goes for the Arcane Intellect. That means he's probably going to follow with Blizzard, but he also draws the Cone of Cold, which is another choice.
Yeah, an even better choice, in fact.
I wonder what Kaldi has cut from his deck, because he runs 2
One Ice
Mad
Barrier.
Scientists. Oh yeah, once he might have cut 1 Ice Barrier for that BGH, and he might have cut the Explosive Sheeps that some people run for, I don't know, for a Cone of Cold.
Yeah, I've seen Cone of Cold on a lot of mage builds though, but there's a few like slots in Freeze Mage that you can tweak around, and just adapt the deck to your liking. And I feel like Big Game Hunter is a really nice inclusion because sometimes some of those bigger minions, although they can die to your AOE over multiple turns, you need an immediate answer. And I think Ragnaros is probably the best example of them.
All right, now we're gonna see the Blizzard and the Doomsayer. As we said before, like there's no way for Priest to deal with Doomsayer pretty much unless they run Shadow Word Pain. And I kind of doubt.
Crazed Alchemist.
Yeah. And Crazed Alchemist, of course. Oh, Holy Fire. That's going to be a key card, but not right now.
Yeah.
There's not really anything that Amaz could use it on right now because he's pretty much on full health.
So do you... No. What can you even do? You just have to pass your turn.
You hope for Kel'Thuzad. Oh, Mal'Ganis!
Mind control! How's the mage going to kill this? He's gonna have to use his 1 fireball on this. He's gonna have to cycle it away.
I mean, not as good as Kel'Thuzad, I would say.
Yeah, but
one of the best drops he could have hoped for.
Most definitely. Well, it's not like the mage would have killed him right now, anyway. But that will, if he had Alexstrasza, that would delay that by at least 1 entire turn. Actually, can you Alexstrasza someone who has Mal'Ganis? Because you're not effectively dealing damage to them, are you?
Out of all people, I thought you would know, Noxious, so I'm a little disappointed in you.
I absolutely have no clue. I mean, I wish I could say I do, but I just don't. Just like one circumstance, I just... No information whatsoever.
Okay, so the second Doomsayer is going to go down. Fair enough.
Is this where he gets Holy Smite and Holy Fire, Holy Smites it?
Light of the Naru. That's not good enough?
No, it's nearly good enough.
I mean, if he had a circle of healing, it would be just good enough.
Or
Yeah,
a second
that's
Light of the Naru. That's unfortunate for him, but
yeah. Light of the Naru is a card that not a lot of Priest players play, but Amaz is known for playing it. I believe in all iterations of Priests that he's brought to tournaments post GVG, he's brought one copy of Light of the Naru, and sometimes he's even brought Valen's Chosen.
yeah. Do you try here for a very all-in play with your spells and Alchemy to ping face as much as possible, force a defensive Alexstrasza, and then mind control it? Is that ever something that goes through your head at this point if you're Amaz?
I mean, Amaz definitely has. Well, I think the mind control, you probably want to save it for something like Archmage Antonius.
Yeah, most definitely, you're right.
I mean, stealing Archmage Antonius is, I would say, pretty good, especially because you're running all these cheap spells. Like you're running Light of the Naru, maybe you're running even Holy Smite. I'd say.
Yeah, but possibly that's like Holy Fire, Holy Smite could be interesting, but Holy Fire is going to have to be kept post Alexstrasza. So this Mal'Ganis is of no use to Amaz, unfortunately, but.
Now, does Kaldi use the Arcane Intellect to hope to draw into his Alexstrasza? Does he combine it with the Archmage Antonius?
You force a mind control, which locks down the priest's turn and gives you the opportunity of then developing something on the board. I need to stop saying developing, of playing something. Alright, so Arcane Intellect for the one fireball and trying to fetch the Alexstrasza, I'm guessing, which he finds, obviously.
There it is.
Oh, hello.
Alexstrasza.
Ouch.
Hello, Alexstrasza. Hello, Pyroblast. Yeah, there's another 1-mana spell. Power Word Shield.
Yeah, where's Gazlo when you need him?
Yeah, unfortunately, Amaz doesn't have a Shadow Word Death, so his only option to quote-unquote remove this Archmage is that Mind Control.
But the thing is, Kaldi still does not know what that secret is, as far as I'm aware. So, if it's Ice Block, that's a lot of damage to just try. Because mages, as there are, with the loss of Archmage in this specific case, have a limited amount of damage output. So if you pop Ice Block on your lethal, then where are you going to find your extra 10 damage that you might need? Especially with Holy Fire and Light of the Naru, that's 6 health in 1 turn. That's a big amount.
Yeah, Freeze Mage is always such a complicated deck to play. Kaldi has to kind of try to calculate how things will go for the next 2 or 3 turns, whether he has to clear this Archmage Antonius or not, or whether he can just go for the Alexstrasza. I mean, that Archmage has to be really threatening, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it's going to at least, you're pretty much guaranteed to have an Ice Block go off, because all he needs is Powered Shield plus double Fireball, and you lose yourself the first Ice Block. And then you have to try to win by expending your 3 next mana on Ice Block, which is borderline impossible.
Alright. Kaldi's going for it. Oh, what a great top deck. Shadow Word Death. Not only does it kill off this Alexstrasza, but it gains him a Fireball, and he can use Holy Fire in the same turn.
Actually, if he Shadow Word Deaths, well, let's assume he Holy Fires, because he does have Ice Barrier, right? But he can't let it trigger. He can't show his opponent what it is. He has to force Kaldi to go all in on the option that it is not.
Yeah, that's a good point. He does have Ice Barrier, so that Alexstrasza
would get negated on the option that he were to try it. But obviously, I think you're right. Shadow Word Death and then Holy Fire is possible. Yeah, and
Light of the Naru is also a heal spell.
Yep. So he doesn't want to play it, is what this probably means.
Alright, he's gonna go to pop the block this turn. Yeah, he's saying that, okay, I've got Ice Barrier. I don't care about this Alexstrasza on the board.
Which is a bit, I mean, he's seen one Ice Block, one Ice Lance, which is why he feels somewhat safe, but, I mean, he knows that his opponent has 2 Fireballs in hand, 1 Pyroblast. He's counting on Light of the Naru and Holy Nova and the, Stealth Heal to carry him through. And he wants to force his opponent to be, actually, is there... Let's assume it is Ice Barrier, right? You are Kaldi right now. You assume it's Ice Barrier. You can just go face with Alexstrasza and see what it is. You'll figure it out after the first attack.
I think the key is that, basically the most amount of damage that a mage can do is 20.
And it's not possible now.
And it's not possible just because Amaz has seen Kaldi use one of his Ice Lances, and
Exactly.
the second Ice Lance is necessary for that 20 damage. So Amaz knows he's completely safe right now.
But what if you just go Ice Block as the mage? You go face, it's Ice Barrier, you see it. Then you go Fireball, Frostbolt, Ice Lance, and then you just wait for the next turn Spiral Blast or something. It seems like a pretty risky play not to kill Alexstrasza. I think Shadow or Deathing her would have.
I mean, no, I think it's all right.
Then again, it's
way,
a fine play either way because he still has
I think
to
it's all
attack.
right simply because Kaldi is never going to get any more damage from a minion. Like, he's never going to set off Ice Barrier anyway for any other reason. So right now, Amaz has to heal for at least 4 damage, which he can do with Light of the Naru and just a simple heal.
Alexstrasza himself, then Light of the Naru.
Oh yeah, Alexstrasza himself even. But I would probably clear this Alexstrasza as well, my opponent's Alexstrasza. So my 3 goals for this turn as Amaz are to number 1, clear the Alexstrasza, number 2, pop the Ice Block, and number 3, heal myself out of Pyroblast range. And I think that's just possible with the Shadow Word Death.
Yeah, you're right.
Light of the Naru, heal, and then attack with the Archmage Antonidas.
Yeah, he's actually more than safe between Shadow or Death and Light of the Naru. Light of the Naru is a really clutch 3 heal. It's like the Earthling Farseer doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, it's like a... It's
a really useful card against Freeze Mage, actually. It's a lot more interesting than I initially thought about.
Yeah,
it's
when
not
I
just
think
a gimmick card.
Yeah, when I think of Light of the Naru, initially I was like, okay, you can heal Blade Masters with this card. That's pretty good. But healing face, it's not really, or especially healing face in the Freeze Mage matchup, that's not something I really considered.
No, me neither, but I realize now that it's actually, it might just be the factor that wins him the game. Because he's seen just about everything coming from Kaldi right now.
Of course, Amaz is going to get the order right.
Yep.
Light of the Naru, and then heal yourself.
Yep.
Gives Light of the Naru, gives the Light Warden 3 attack.
Yeah. So what's the saving grace here? Oh, wow. No, that's not even it. There is nothing.
Kaldi, he's looking at the situation, but he knows Amaz has infinite fireballs in his hand.
Infinite, indeed. Yeah, there's no way. He could just ping himself. The noble way out.
Yeah. It's an Ekot play, if any. Okay, Loot Hoarder.
Awesome. You go, boy. Let's see what he gets.
And
he
then
gets his
fireball
Frostbolt.
himself. Yes.
Yep. Alright, that was not enough. The mage, not actually beating Priest, which I guess is somewhat to be expected, but it really came down to that Light of the Naru, didn't it? It was a 3 health thing, like at the very end there. Because he would have had to Holy Nova otherwise, which would not have killed Alexstrasza.
Well, no, Holy Nova and heal yourself. That would have, I think that would have been enough, actually, right? Yeah, Holy Nova plus heal yourself would have, plus the Shadow Word Death.
That would have been enough. He couldn't have played.
No, that's exactly 10 mana.
But would he have been able to develop the board afterwards? I mean, he didn't need to. But...
He didn't need to develop the board, so I think Light of the Naru, even though it was good,
It was useless, right?
Yeah, Holy Nova would have done the same purpose.
Yeah, just plus 2 health is what you need. You need to be like just beyond 10 is all. Yeah, the only combination that would have killed him was double fireball, but because I lost track of how many fireballs were played from Archmage on Kaldi's hand. I think he had 3 fireballs played this entire game.
Yeah, he got 1 fireball from Archmage plus Arcane Intellect, and then he
pretty much it got mind controlled, and then the priest got infinite fireballs. So that's 1-1 here with Amaz versus Kaldi. So Amaz is gonna be just keeping his priest, while Kaldi's gonna pick. What do you think he's gonna take between Rogue and Druid?
I think Rogue and Druid are both pretty fair matchups for against the priest. Amaz has been quoted in saying that, oh, Druid's like one of the worst matchups for priest. Just the double combo is so hard to play around, and Druid tends to run a lot of 4 attack minions, whether it be the Azure Drakes or the Druid of the Claw. And also, just innervate plays are just generally so hard to deal with. If you can't deal with the first minion they innervate out, that minion can deal 4 damage, 8 damage, 12 damage. You can just keep hitting you in the face over and over again. But at the same time, Rogue, back when there was Miracle Rogue, traditionally Miracle Rogue versus Priest was one of the most one-sided matchups in the game. Miracle